What's up, Ethan?
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Where are you? You look like you're in a fight club.
I'm in the narrative, brother. This is our one half print shop, one half production studio here. I run with the narrator, Jedediah JC.
Wow, dude. You're so intense. I remember when you were like light and funny, you know?
What happened? I don't know. Maybe a worldwide pandemic, being fired with no options to work. I don't know. Shit kind of changed that last year, 2020, for a lot of people. And I think if you don't realize, you don't embrace the change, if you keep living in the painful agony that everything is fine, everything is okay, you're not going to find your true self. And that's what the narrative is all about, is finding who you truly are.
All right. Well, I'm including all of this. We're just going to go right into the.
Why shouldn't you? It started great. I hate wasting, because sometimes when we have that heavy banter in the beginning, it's like really good. Then we start and we're like, you miss it. You miss some stuff. But I am fine with everything I've said because it is all true. Wonderful. And let's rock. All right. Continue to rock.
Yeah, like you hear the voice in the room, the voice in the narrative right now. He's going to present Free the Narrative May 27th. It's EC3. EC3, thanks so much, man. You're already dropping knowledge on me here. You kind of explained it a little bit here, but talk to me a little bit more about how you came up with Control the Narrative. Why was this the thing you wanted to launch after you left WWE?
Control Your Narrative wasn't really something I wanted to watch upon leaving WWE. It was just kind of the opportunity. I think we all know, sort of through stories of working within that company and telling stories, you don't have an opportunity to truly be yourself. So Control Your Narrative is really based on just the fact anybody can tell their story. You're allowed to tell your story, whatever it may be. Who I truly am was not who I was in the WWE watered down version of something I was in a different company. Like who I truly was and who I truly wanted to be, never really had the opportunity to do. Whether it's my fault, whether it's their fault, it doesn't matter. It's just a fact that I was not who I truly am. So Control Your Narrative, telling your story, I was able to do that. Worked out pretty well. Worked into Ring of Honor. They loved it. Worked out for Impact. They wanted me to come in doing what I was doing. So being true to myself through these weird and hard times benefited me greatly, but now there's also an opportunity to tell so many more stories. There's so many people within this industry that deserve an opportunity to tell their story. And that's what Free the Narrative is about. It's not only my story. It's not only the story I have with Matt Cardona, because we are yin and yang, light and dark in a sense. We are bizarro each other, so we have a great story to tell, but there's so many more people within wrestling that deserve a chance to tell their story. So we open the doors to the narrative, and we're going to see a lot of different stories be told in a different way. So
I went and I watched the trailer for Free the Narrative, and dude, this thing looks awesome, man. Like the production on this is like off the charts. What are you doing here? Is this is this an art piece? Are you launching a new promotion? Like what is this?
It's certainly not a promotion. It's not a corporate wrestling promotion. It's not a 3-letter brand. What is this? That's a great question, and I think you said it pretty well. An art piece, in a sense. I think professional wrestling can be art. My partner, the narrator who opened us up, Jedediah, we are very creative and original, kind of weird, but there is an art to wrestling that I think has been lost through the way the business has progressed. Storytelling, classic storytelling, but also from an artistic sense. It's just doing something different. It's being bold, trying something different. It could be a humongous success. It could be a catastrophic failure. I don't know, but the fact that we're going to go out there and try and do something, nobody else is doing it. Why not?
Yeah.
The opportunity arose. Like, be different, be bold, win or lose. You win because you've tried.
So we know it's going to be you and Cardona. What else is happening on Free the Narrative? What can fans expect from this show?
I kind of like some ambiguity, but at the same time, I do want to sell this thing so people do watch it. It's available on Vimeo. The link is on freethenarrative.com, and we've also unleashed a promo code called Free Wrestling Inc. So if you use that to pre-order or to order, because it'll be up for a while, Free Wrestling Inc., you get 20% off. So it's like $10. There you go. It's an art piece for $10. You're supporting a lot of people that put a lot on the line to come down there because there's no money in the narrative. Come on.
I don't know, man. You got to have money.
I didn't answer your question, though. I'm sorry. What was your question?
You did not answer my question. My question was, what other than you and Cardona? I know you.
Yes. What else can we expect?
Yes.
There'll be 3 to 4 fights. Individuals you know, individuals you should know, individuals you will know, all competing to find their purpose, get their name on the map, so to speak, find out who they truly are. So we've only released, I've kind of hinted at some people in there, and if you look closely at the trailer, you could see some familiar faces. But the one person we did announce, and I'll continue to announce people till this thing launches, was John Schuyler, who you may see in AEW from time to time, and he's the good hand, the proverbial good hand. Like, he's a great wrestler, he's a great technician, but in our industry, sometimes that becomes a negative because somebody in a corporate wrestling office perhaps says, well, he's a good hand, but I don't see him being a star. How do you know if you never have the opportunity? How do you know he can't be a star if he never has a chance to tell his story? What brought him to this point? What brought him within the realms of this industry? He's a story I'm very happy to focus on because it reminds me a lot of mine. Before I was ever signed and paid money to wrestle, I suffered a very catastrophic knee injury. And recently he's coming back from a catastrophic ACL, MCL tear. And when you hurt yourself and you're not backed by a company, you're paying for it. You pay your insurance, you pay your deductibles, you're paying for your rehab. It's all on you. And when you come back from a catastrophic injury and you have no name value, so to speak, you've had no opportunities, you don't get a cool ass video package hyping your return. You don't get a cool countdown or vignettes. You get nothing, but you're back in a building in front of 100 people, working for a hot dog and a handshake. So a guy like Schuyler deserves an opportunity, and he gets a chance to tell a story. So many more like that will be told.
I believe I saw like broken glass in this trailer.
Broken glass? We're not that crazy.
I don't know. There was like white stuff bouncing off the mat. I didn't know if it was like.
Well, okay, the white stuff.
Yeah.
This should be the line that gets the boat. EC3 loves the white stuff. What is the white stuff in EC3's narrative? The white stuff is grit. So it was inspired by, what's that movie called?
Bronson.
Inspired by the film Bronson with Tom Hardy. So when he's fighting dudes nude in prison, there was like a lot of grit floating around, and like the aesthetic was really cool. So we tried to capture that from the sense. That is the white stuff. Okay. So it's not broken glass. All right. I don't want this to be portrayed because it is, in a sense, Fight Club wrestling. In a sense, like, it's not underground, hardcore, bloodbath. Like, this is art. This is storytelling in a dingy means, I guess you could say. So there is no broken glass yet. I mean, maybe in the narrative too. Free the narrative too.
Hey, that's just what I saw. I'm glad you corrected it. I don't want people out there thinking this is Nick Gage, Dark Side of the Ring Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's a great way to tell a story, though.
Yeah, and you talk about storytelling, and one of the things you said there's no countdown clock, there's no big videos, but dude, that's not you, man. Like, you do that stuff even without the company. It's interesting to me that, like, from the little bit fans really got to see of you in a spotlight on Raw, you worked with Ambrose, who's now John Moxley, and man, he packaged himself very similarly when he left the company. How much of an inspiration was John and the way he was able to leave WWE in kind of what you're getting to do right now?
Yeah, he had a very sustained run at top of the WWE for 8 years. So like carte blanche, and then the ability to do something different. He was real to himself in WWE. I mean, granted, but to truly let himself go and then to shoot something cinematic in a sense to announce his arrival back to becoming Mox and everything he's done.
Yeah.
It was definitely inspiring. I don't think I had that name value so much because I didn't have that WWE run on top like he did. So I just had to take inspiration from it, but make it my own, and then exemplify it times 1,000. Because, like when he left to another major company, and then you were allowed to internationally travel. When I left, there's no wrestling except for nobody knew what was going on. So there's a way to keep relevance in a sense. And then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. More people within the industry kind of asking me about it and actually intrigued about controlling their narrative, doing something similar, and then fans, in a sense, reaching out in a different way. It all kind of just snowballed into this giant idea. Like, why don't we do something big and bold, and we do it ourselves independently, as independent as possible. Two dudes, a bunch of hungry people that believe in a cause. So see what happens.
Yeah, for sure, man. And it's unfortunate. Look, you say you weren't a big name like Moxley, but Ethan, you're still a big name. Like when you
I'm awesome. I'm over his shit, of course, yes. Yeah, but I wasn't as big as him.
Sure. But when you came to WWE after, you were there for the early NXT stuff. You left, reinvented yourself. Dude, you had so much buzz on you. I remember when you came back into WWE, the NXT stuff, I thought was all right. It was a little surprising you didn't get to. I don't know why didn't they ever put you like further up the card down in NXT? I guess is a question I wonder.
I think I wasn't to be there too long. So
okay, gotcha. That makes sense. Awesome. So, yeah. But like, what happened, man? Like, seriously, I hate to just put it like that, but like. You do the Ambrose match, and then the next week, I think he like small packaged you or something like that. And then we don't. You're to main event. Like, what happened in that bout or that week that made them shift how they were going to be pushing you?
If you know, by all means, tell me, because I don't. I mean, I caught the ire of the guy that makes all the decisions. So you didn't like something, and then maybe you didn't like something that didn't directly involve me, and there's no one else to punish, so I suffer the consequences. Maybe I just sucked. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because it just led me to what was next, and that's okay. It's important.
Did you ever get to talk to Vince and like pitch stuff, or what was the vibe you got up of him?
Indifference, really. Yeah, there's times. It's hard to get. Maybe I wasn't aggressive enough in pitching it too, so that could lay on me. But at the same time, I don't know. It's when you try and nothing happens. I made myself a promise, and I broke that promise because there is a negative stigmata a lot of times in the locker room where nothing matters. And coming up there, I was like, no matter what happens, I'm going to be positive, optimistic. I'm going to grind. I'm going to be my absolute best. I'm going to put it forward. And I didn't, because I fell into the trap of nothing matters. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe nothing does matter there, or maybe I was my own worst enemy. So
what do you mean by like you may have been your own worst enemy? Do you think you were just frustrated and communication shut down, that kind of thing? Or
yeah, possibly. And you get frustration, depression, anxiety, angst. All those things kind of add up. When I was called up, I think I talked about in the past, like the call-up came when I was out with a concussion, so I rushed back, and then maybe I didn't heal enough from it mentally. Maybe I didn't have enough time. Maybe I tried to rush back into action too soon. Or maybe I just failed. Like, it's okay to fail, because through failure you learn.
I, like many, really enjoy your chemistry with Drake Maverick now, is what he's called. I forget exactly which show it was, but it was a dark match. I was there live, and Drake worked as your manager, I remember.
Yes, we worked against Brodie Lee. And there's a lot. Man.
No. Well,
there's a story there, and it's tough.
Tell me the story. I want to know. I thought
of course, yeah. Oh, I want the headlines. Yeah, let me get them. Well, briefly, I thought about writing about it, But I mean, in a brief sense, Drake and I worked hard to pitch ourselves as a unit because we have undeniable chemistry and we shot our own vignettes and stuff like that. And we were pitching them and everyone loved them, but they weren't going anywhere. And then after WrestleMania, I think we asked to do the dark match. And Brodie, who was coming back from whatever he was coming back from at the time, who's also had a great run there, but still never properly utilized, never able to control his narrative and be who he should be. He just wanted to wrestle so his son can see him wrestle, because it was after WrestleMania. Like he just wanted to do a match so his son can see him wrestle. So then they paired us together, and that's the match you're talking about. So it's kind of emotional. And then we did everything we were told. I thought we knocked it out of the park. Somebody didn't like something. Somebody probably said, "Oh, I didn't tell them to do that," even though they told us to do that. Whatever, that's the business. But John was a great man. Very fortunate to have worked with him in that sense. I always hold on to that memory. When I got fired, he actually texted me. He said, "Hey, man, remember when they told us to do all this stuff and you and Drake did really good at your job, and then we all got in trouble?" And I said, "Yep." And he's like, "Well, we'll see you around." And I did not get to see him since, but that's unfortunate. But that's the story. Yeah, I mean,
I'm really glad I know the backstory on that, because I remember watching that match and I totally had forgotten it was Brodie, but you're right, it's all coming back to me. I remember Drake was like an actual manager. He was doing real manager spots. He was like jumping up on the apron. He was doing distraction stuff. I mean, you see a lot of like advocates like, Heyman, or people that kind of just stand by the ring. But I thought it was so cool seeing you guys work an actual like manager. You work the manager into the match. You never see that before.
And maybe that worked against us, but we want you to do every manager spot you can fit in 6 minutes. Done. We did it, and we paid the price for doing what we were told.
Oh man, they wanted you, because I remember watching that. I was like, this match feels so different because of what you guys did with Drake in that manager spot. And I was walking away from that. I was like, I hope this thing makes it to TV, and I was so bummed when it didn't. So anyway.
It just wasn't meant to be, and that's okay.
How did you feel about getting shuffled into the 24/7 title picture? What was that?
Oh, it was a nightmare. I hated it. I couldn't care less. I was so like, I don't care. So I was like, you're a 4-time. I think it was Sean Ross said, well, you're a 4-time 24/7 champ, and I believe he runs this as a gif. It's like, who gives a shit? It's whatever. It was a joke. Okay. Stupid. I mean, what came of it though was Drake Maverick taking it upon himself, controlling his narrative, and making that thing mean so much. Yeah. Especially with him and Truth, launching Truth into like the hilarious walking meme that he became with it. So I mean, there was entertainment and value within it. Me personally, I wanted more, and I wanted bigger and better things. And you do the best with what you have. So it's not like I didn't try in these horrible, god-awful segments, but at the same time, they have a ceiling.
Sure. Do you keep in touch with Dixie, your aunt?
Yes, she was very concerned when I was hospitalized a couple of weeks ago, so she checked in a couple times. So of course I check in with Aunt D. Okay. I sent her a very nice Mother's Day text. Sent her the best. All the Carter clan, I love and adore so much. So
I wanted her to be with you. Was there ever any talk of packaging you two together on screen in WWE or no?
I think in jest, nothing of serious nature. Man. But I mean, could you imagine?
Dude, I thought she could have. I think she still could be like a Vicky Guerrero type in WWE.
I think she could be whatever she wants to be, because she's my sweet aunt and she's the best, and I love her so much. And I also need funding for the next narrative, Andy. So
I got it. Okay.
I mean, hey, worst case, maybe narratives in the future.
Sure.
Maybe.
You brought up you were in the hospital there. I actually was going to ask you as well. Like, how are you feeling? How like. That sounded miserable, what you were going
through. Oh, it was terrible. Yeah, I had cellulitis and stenosis. So if you ever have infections in your body, get second opinions and get them checked out instead of like working your ass off constantly and destroying your immune system. So they take over, and then your arms swell up into elephantitis-sized trunks, and you nearly get them amputated. So, yeah, it was horrible. Learned a lesson on self-care and resting, which it's hard to rest when you have so many awesome things going on, like Free the Narrative, available on Vimeo, 5/27/2021. Working full-time for Ring of Honor, running small businesses, trying to launch supplement companies, running fitness empires, just putting a lot of things. Like, I didn't rest, so I paid the price, and I got out of it alive, and I'm good. How am I feeling? This is actually the first business-like thing I've done since, so I was kind of worried I wouldn't be sharp and witty and quick. I'd say I'm at like 80%.
Okay. Yeah. No, you seem to go right there with me. I thought. I think
right there with you. You're the benchmark.
I think this went okay. I don't know. I feel like this went well. This was fun.
Yeah, it's good. Okay,
good. Well, this is good. Let's do a little postmortem on it. Last thing, you brought up Ring of Honor. Why ROH, man? Like, a lot of people I think would have expected you to land back at Impact, where you kind of took on the EC3 name. Why ROH, and does ROH have any influence or input into what you're doing with this Free the Narrative art piece you got going?
They're very behind what I was doing in this character presentation, which is shockingly realistic to me. So that was very important to me when discussing with them. It's a name brand and a legacy that I think has gotten lost, that I felt I could reestablish and build from the ground up. As good as Impact was, and as fun as my little brief run back there with Moose to teach him how to control his narrative, it's something I've done already, and I was definitely looking to do something I haven't done. Ring of Honor has been nothing but great to me. Programming with Jay Briscoe is a match I've always wanted, and I think we definitely delivered one of what will be many matches in the future at Ring of Honor 19, and I was very proud of that fight.
Yeah,
win or lose, just because we were able to scale back and tell a great physical story. And what I miss about wrestling is gruff, realistic combat, men looking like they've been in a fight and fighting it out, and psychology and storytelling and stuff like that. So providing me 20 minutes on pay-per-view to go do that was good, but just, they've been great to me, and I think the potential to do something there is greater to build something back than it is to fall in line and just be a part of something. I don't want to be a part of something. I want to be responsible for a catalyst of something, whether it's Ring of Honor, whether it's Free the Narrative, both. Like, it's a lot to juggle, but they've provided me, they realize the value of a free EC3. If you go to www.freeec3.com, you can buy that as a t-shirt printed right behind me. But they allowed me to be free to be who I am, free to control my narrative. So that's why.
Rock and roll, man. Hey, I'm really excited to see ROH up and running on the road again. I mean, you, Danhausen, Mike Bennett. I mean, there's been some great additions here through the pandemic, and I'm excited to see what that product looks like when you finally get it in front of some fans, and maybe even on live TV. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that would be great. That would be excellent. And I definitely think I missed the last bubble. Very disappointing because I was, hospitalized.
Yeah.
But again, it's something they've supported me through, like reaching out to them, like, hey, I'm in the hospital, and they're nothing but concerned about my health and not, rest, dude, rest. Like, there's no animosity towards me because I already missed a month because of COVID. Now I've missed a month because my arm almost gets ripped off. Like, they support me and I support them, and I will fly that flag.
Rock and roll. All right. Hey, Ethan, I want to thank you so much for taking some time to talk to me. I'm ecstatic. I'm very excited for Free the Narrative. This thing looks badass, dude. I really, I encourage everyone to go watch the trailer. Plop down your $10 using free Wrestling Inc. That's the promo code, right?
That is the promo code for your specific listeners. And then, www.freethenarrative.com. Find the link on Vimeo. You can pre-order it. I feel this is something, too, that's going to grow within time. So it'll be up for a while, and if you watch it, review it. If you think it sucks, say it sucks. That's fine. Honesty, feedback. We're very curious to see how this could change the game a little bit. I mean, it's not trying to change the game so much, but just provide an alternative way to tell stories within the sport we all love.